is just fantastic.
Captain's log, subdates 211126.5. Okay, the holodeck has been redecorated, and I've ordered the crew not to have this spill out to the rest of the Arcadia, as it is a bit trashy, outdated, cringe, and more importantly, November. Welcome everyone to This Week at Twitter! Or twat, and yes, look at that. My voice has fully returned, I am fully functioning, and I'm not using that crappy cheap background, which wasn't cheap in the slightest, but the icon was. Today we're going to start with something light-hearted, this image. What is it? Wrong answers only. And yes, yet again I have managed to get myself ratioed. Your conscience made flesh, Chewbacca's face, animal, a fleshlight, my sleep paralysis demon Stephen, hairball with teeth, assault Merkin, the angel of death, looks like a Fraggle. Is that a haggis? The fun thing here is, more than one person commented, Tribble. And I mention that because I said wrong answers only. That is an official Star Trek merch Tribble. I don't know why the teeth are there, but there they are. You guys lost and disqualified, and your prize is I'm now going to block every last one of you. Oh, yes. You are all welcome, and thus concludes another installment of Meg Gets Ratioed. So next we're going to go to a very much interesting, trending, and annoying subject. Richard Energy. Yesterday we posted a picture we took at J.K. Rowling's house. While we stand by the photo, since posting it we've received an overwhelming amount of serious and threatening transphobic messages, so decided to take the photo down. Love to our trans siblings. J.K. Rowling. Last Friday my family's address was posted on Twitter by 3 activist actors who took pictures of themselves in front of our house. Which one? Don't you live in a castle? Carefully positioning themselves to ensure that our address was visible. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who reported the image to Twitter support. Your kindness and decency made all the difference to my family and me. I'd also like to thank Scottish Police for their support and assistance in this matter. I implore those who retweeted the image with the address still visible, even if they did so in condemnation of these people's actions, to delete it. Over the last few years I've watched appalled as women like Alison Bailey, Raquel Sanchez, Mariam Miller, Rosie Duffield, Joanna Cherry, Julie Bindle, Rosa Friedman, Kathleen Stock, and many others, including women who have no public profile, but who've contacted me to relate their experiences, have been subject to campaigns of intimidation which range from being hounded on social media, the targeting of their employers, all the way up to doxing and direct threats of violence, including a 4-letter word I can't say. None of these women are protected in the way I am. They and their families have been put into a state of fear and distress for no other reason than that they refuse to uncritically accept that the socio-political concept of gender identity should replace that of sex. The shorthand way of putting this is, if you don't like what someone says, ignore them. You don't go to their home, you don't put their home on blast, you don't endanger their lives, they get enough death threats as it is online. Now you've just made it so people know where they can go to send their death threat or deliver it in person. Behaviour like that is unacceptable. People like ContraPoints, while disagreeing with J.K. Rowling's position, agree with the overarching point that doxing and harassment is an utter disgrace. It is unacceptable behaviour. And by the way, people who are critical of others' ideas are needed to either help affirm, confirm, or debunk the idea that the other person believes to be fact. Going out of your way to silence them by bullying them is not a good tactic. What's that term? There are no bad targets, only bad tactics? Or is it the other way round? I can never remember, because to be honest, both of them could be used in differing circumstances. So next we're going to go to Josh. Right-wing reactionaries can't refute the claim that paedophilia is naturally occurring. What difference would that make to you? From Mike. From Josh. Because I've got a bunch of angry right-wing reactionaries saying that it is wrong and not natural. I'm simply asking they back up their claims. Thus far, not a single one can. Deka Shoko, or Chloe, I remember you from Gamergate. If saying paedophilia is wrong makes me an angry right-wing reactionary, I'm good with that. And I'll be honest, when it comes to the subtle nuance of debating whether paedophilia is right or wrong, or whether it is naturally occurring or not, I don't care. I want it to be dealt with. Now some will say, short drop and a sudden stop. Some will say, in front of a wall. If the person with the interest for younger people has not acted on those feelings, I want them to get treatment. Because I want them to live a normal life never having that, or having crossed the line. If they've crossed the line, ta-ta. Enjoy your life sentence in an ISO cube. So when people like Josh want to debate these subjects, I can't help but feel that it's the wrong debate to have, because nobody's trying to argue for or against it. No one cares enough when it comes to naturally occurring, not to the actual issue itself. Because let's be honest here, the issue needs to be dealt with. You, Josh, are just clutching at straws, desperate to make a point, as if it is some kind of deep philosophical epiphany-related point, which it really isn't. I don't think there's a version of this video where I can't address the Rittenhouse fallout. For those who don't know, Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty on all 5 charges. Whether you agree with that or not, doesn't matter. The bad takes from it, though, we can address those. Mark Ruffalo. We come together to mourn the lives lost to the same racist system that devalues black lives and devalued the lives of Anthony and Jojo. Wasn't one of those a sex offender and the other one a domestic abuser? Interesting. That hashtag of reimagine Kenosha couldn't be more appropriate. I hear revisionist history is quite common among your ilk. Grace Randolph. I rarely tweet about politics, but this not guilty on all counts verdict is appalling. Kev Conrad. Self-defense is never appalling. Grace. It's not self-defense, he put himself in a position he should not have been in. I like that a verdict has been given based on state law, and people have said, nah fam, nah, cause morally, yo. I did like that Colbert put out a video on this, and it intrigued me, because in the video, he said that if he didn't break the law, we should change the law.
But I can tell you this, if he didn't break the law, we should change the law.
Which is him saying, I think he's guilty, so he should be guilty. Let's change the law, everyone, yes? Let's do it. Let's make him guilty. Off to prison you go. We don't like the outcome, so we'll change everything else so we get the outcome we want. That sounds like an old EU tactic they used when it came to voting. And then not getting the result they wanted, so they made the country in question re-vote over and over again until they got the result they wanted. Colbert, you suck. The most interesting part about this was I was informed of a rye whiskey brand called Rittenhouse. Well, the owners of it, Heaven Hill Brands, well, they've taken a stance on this. We have been disheartened to learn that some individuals and businesses have been using our Rittenhouse straight rye whiskey brand to celebrate the Kyle Rittenhouse case verdict, despite the profound loss of life from those events. You're right. F for the bicep. 2. There is no link between our Rittenhouse rye brand, which was started post-prohibition to commemorate Rittenhouse Square, and in this case, it is our strongly held belief that in serious matters such as this, where lives were lost and people were deeply affected, there is no cause for celebration, but instead deep reflection on how we can make the world a more peaceful and respectful place for all. I still want to buy a bottle, but that's just me. Some do believe this is them taking a side in this argument. I think they've taken the wrong side, and should instead just go, woo, sales are up. Moving on from that, we're going to talk about StoryFire briefly. StoryFire was created by McJuggernuggets. If you don't know who he is, I'm not surprised. He kind of disappears on off, and it's weird. He created it as an alt platform to YouTube, has been in a number of dramas, mostly his own creation. He is quite good at it. I believe he at one point did sell for cryptocurrency. I don't know. Regardless of the sale of StoryFire and blah 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 business model blah blah blah, he has recently been announced as the CEO of StoryFire. Congratulations for being the CEO for a platform that you started. I tend to agree with Tipster on this. The whole ordeal with StoryFire is a massive effing joke. I didn't even realize that creators used it. Mostly because the only person I know who has an award from using it is McJuggernuggets himself. I know, who'd have thunk it? But also, I remember going onto their app, or their site, and I considered using it as an alt platform at one point, to then realize to do so I have to fill in an application form to be considered worthy to use their site, which I found incredibly irritating. For the sake of it, the only alt platform I really use is BitChute, linked below. Give me subscribers. To move on from that, we're going to talk about Swimsuit Succubus or Susu. Hey, at Team YouTube, is there a reason the comments on my video keep getting randomly disabled? And the video is demonetized for frequent use of strong profanity when there is none? Team YouTube, thanks for reaching out. We know how important comments are for creators. Blah 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 lip service Google Doc support thing. Susu, can you please address the issue with my video being demonetized for strong profanity when there isn't any? Thanks for your patience. We just heard back from our team and they have determined your video has been correctly demonetized for inappropriate language. Susu, You all see this? There are no swear words. WTF. And of course, because this is the best response to all of it, Ricky Berwick.
What the fuck is that shit?
I have videos that have been pulled for nudity when I've shown no images beyond my avatar and a backdrop, and my avatar is fully clothed. I've spoken on issues, but never shown any pictures of those issues, and they have been determined to be hateful. Yet I have not spoken of anything that could be hateful, by their own nebulous standards, that is. Team YouTube are, while useful in some senses, not for the vast majority of the time. Also, if you're not a sub of either Berwick or Susu, I'm going to link their channels below. To the final subject. International Men's Day was last week. Mimi Newman, proposed edit. International Men Ain't Shit Day. Carly, we'll be taking a mental health day tomorrow, so don't call, don't text. Amelie Flynn, who did this, smash the patriarchy. Lois, deletes this. Filthy mouthed wife. So just like the other 364 days? It's nice to see there are still dickheads online who don't get the concept of why these days exist. The one we get a year that is inevitably co-opted or defamed, slammed, slandered, tarnished by morons who don't understand that men do have issues too, and they rarely get addressed in favour of whatever it is you think is better for you. Remarkable selfishness at the most inopportune moment. Now, as we're done, I'd like to know what you think, so please do let me know in the comments down below. Have a fantastic day and subsequent weekend, and thank you all very much for listening.